Your next client is here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please take a seat.
Thank you.
And please have a glass of water and
Thanks very much.
tissue and paper in front of you to take note.
Lovely. Cheers. Thank
Is
you.
it hard to find our office?
No, it's very easy. Just got the number 37 bus, and bus stops outside, so everything was fine.
We're glad to hear that.
Good.
Okay, so first of all, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Boravin Tan,
Thank you.
and my colleague is Wansakasok.
Thank you.
We are the members of Bar Association, and we are the specialists in employment contract.
Okay.
So hope that today's consultation will help you solve your problem.
Good.
Okay, so is it your first time coming to a law firm?
Yeah, never.
Okay,
Never been
so
before.
yes, so this is your first time coming to a law firm, so we will tell you some important rules and procedure in today's consultation. Okay, first of all is regarding the principle of confidentiality. All the information that you have told us today, we only keep between ourselves here. No third party will know about this information. So the more you tell us, the more we can help you.
Good. All right.
Okay, and the second thing that you need to know is about the fee. The normal rate in our office is $50 per hour. But today is free of charge because it is an initial consultation only. But later on, if you decide to retain us as your lawyer, the normal rate will be applied. So are you clear with the rule that I have just mentioned?
Yeah, very clear. Yeah. Sounds
Okay.
great.
Let my colleague tell you about the procedure.
Okay, since it's your first time of coming to a law firm, so even we got some memo from our secretary about your information, but still we need to know more about your problem. So we will ask you to tell us what brings you here today. And while you are telling us, please state clearly the name of the people or the company. Because if we figure out that there are some opponent party of yours that we used to represent in the past or are our client right now, we might stop you. Because it's the conflict of interest, according to our ethics code. And after you telling us all the story or your problem, we might ask you some questions to get more detail in order to help you as much as possible. And we will spot out the main issue, which is the legal issues, and tell you what is the legal consequences by applying our law. And if you don't understand our explanation, please feel free to ask us anytime.
Okay.
And we summarize back your problem to you back in order to ensure that we don't miss any important fact or we don't get any wrong information. And if we make some error on that, feel free to correct us.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yes, and we will give you the options, and we give you our opinion as well, which is the best option in your situation. But it's your own choice to choose the option for your situation by yourself.
Okay.
So, are you clear with the procedure?
Yeah, crystal clear. Yeah. That's great.
Okay.
Okay.
So, since we have a limited time, so I think you should start telling us what brings you here today.
Okay, well, I just brought some, just in case I forget facts and figures, I just have some notes just in case.
Yes, you can
Okay.
have
That's
our
all right.
pen.
Yeah.
The pen.
Okay.
Well, basically, I think you saw from my email. I'm working with International Bank of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
Been working with them for about 2 years. And the case I'd like to bring is, I'd like to get some advice because I believe that I've been like sexually harassed at work. I'd like to get advice on this situation on what to do.
Okay.
And it's been happening for a while, so basically at the moment that's what it's all about, is somebody at work is sexually harassing me.
We are sorry to hear that you have faced sexual harassment in your workplace, but we want to inform you once again, it is a confidential consultation. So please feel free to tell us anything that has happened to you in order to let us help you as much as possible. So you said that you've been sexually harassed at your workplace. Can you tell us more detail about this?
Yeah, I guess it started March last year, 2011. Was when I first noticed that kind of, what I would consider crossing the boundaries. And this person, this woman was Mrs. Thompson. She's the executive vice president of the company, so she's pretty high up. That's the first time in March that I noticed that she was being overtly sexual. in an uncomfortable way. I wasn't comfortable with it, and from then on it got progressively worse and worse, and it became more like sexual comments, or even touching in certain places, uncomfortable places. And she would ask about sex life, and she was trying to, I could, sex life with my girlfriend, all this kind of uncomfortable stuff. So basically that's why I feel I was sexually harassed, but it happened for a long time after, and I was just a bit embarrassed being a man to bring it up, that I'm being harassed by a woman. So that's why it took me so long to come forward. But I actually did complain. So
Yes, we understand your situation, and it's really embarrassed to talk about this problem. But in order to help you, we want to know explicitly what is the action that she did to you.
Well, it started off where she was. I mean, she used to come down to the office all the time. She's come down for maybe a couple of minutes, or going to the canteen, or you wouldn't see her around too much. And then just one day I was working on the computer, and she would always joke, and she would say you flirt and that kind of stuff, and didn't think anything bad. But she reached across to a pen. I mean, there was a pen here. I didn't understand it, so she said, "Can I grab her pen?" And she basically had at the time she had her blouse unbuttoned, really low actually at the time, but I didn't really notice it until she crossed in front of me, so I just thought it was a mistake. But as she passed back with the pen, she deliberately, I could see her put her hand down and slowly brush it across my leg. So that was my first. That was the very first time I noticed, okay, there's something more here. And then as the weeks went on, she would come down more. She'd come down more for lunch in the canteen, and next thing she was, so it was I mean, I understood maybe she didn't know I had a fiance, but then I did mention it deliberately a few times that I had a fiance and that I was happy, and then it got worse and worse and worse. She didn't seem to care, and basically she would get worse with the sexual jokes or sexual innuendo. Then she would start touching me in more uncomfortable places, but she would do it when other people aren't around, and so it got worse, and became more aggressive, saying she'd like to do sexual things to me and all that. And I did say to her that I was uncomfortable. I'm engaged. I'm very, very happy in my relationship, and it just seemed to spur her on. It just seemed to make her worse, and it became very aggressive. But she was very clever. She wouldn't let anybody see the physical contact. She'd still say certain jokes in the innuendo, and everybody else would laugh. But yeah, I wouldn't. I just thought they didn't understand what was going on behind that. So that's why I brought up that case, and I had enough, and I did bring him to Mr. Stevens, who's the CEO of the company.
Okay.
And so I decided to go to him because I was embarrassed to go to my supervisor, Mr. Murphy. So I thought that if it got out or on the floor where I was working, that I would be very embarrassed, and I think I would have just been teased, or they wouldn't have taken it seriously, because they didn't realise what was going on. And I didn't want my fiance to know if these rumours got out. But Mr. Stevens, I thought would help me, but...
Okay, so since you mentioned many people here and go to the CEO, so we just want to clarify, what is the name of your bank?
International Bank of Commerce.
Oh, it's the name, okay.
Yeah.
And you told us that you have the other supervisor. You mentioned one name of, you mentioned the position of the supervisor. So who is your supervisor?
The supervisor is Patrick Murphy.
Patrick
He's kind of
Murphy.
my boss. I mean, I call him a supervisor. I suppose he's the general manager of the floor or whatever. But I mean, I get on great with him, but I just felt like I was very embarrassed about this, So I felt like I couldn't say it. I couldn't say it to him, even though I could get on very well with him. I felt that because she's so, and I didn't want to put him in a position to go to her because she is the executive vice president. So if I thought if I went above her, that the situation would be sorted and they would understand. And I thought that was the best route to go. So that's why I didn't talk to Mr. Murphy.
And you told us that you did tell Mrs. Thompson that it's really uncomfortable for you for her conduct. So what did she respond?
And she just laughed it off. She didn't take it serious. And then I made it clear, and she didn't care, to be honest. She didn't really care. So I guess what I was worried about, I was uncomfortable with the sexual contact, because I'm not, it's not the point, but I'm not attracted to her anyway, and I let her know that I wasn't attracted to her and I wasn't interested. But I'm very worried because of my fiance was my big worry if this rumours got out. You know, so I made that clear too, but she just seemed to, she didn't really care, she just laughed it off.
You must be in a very difficult situation, and we are really sorry to hear that. But we want to ask you more questions regarding to the basic information. So, are you a member of any union in your company?
No.
No.
And do you have any employment contract with your bank?
With my bank? Yeah.
Employment contract?
Yeah, a 5-year contract.
5-year contract.
5-year contract,
Employment
okay.
Contract, yeah.
And is there any internal rule and regulation in your bank?
Is there, sorry?
Internal rule and regulation, it means a manual?
There is a manual we got on the induction day, the first day. But I mean, I remember briefly glancing through it, but I never really studied it as such.
And do you bring it here today?
I have it at home, but I said to your secretary, if you need any stuff sent, I can send them on by post, or I can email you whatever you need.
Okay.
But I didn't bring it with me, no.
It's okay, we can have it next time. We just want to clarify things, what is the internal rule.
Okay.
And have you ever heard any about the sexual harassment case in your company, in your bank?
No. This is the first, that's why I was very surprised, you know. I mean, I tried to, you know, I tried to ask, you know, fellow employees, you know, anything, has there ever been cases like, you know, people being brought for, you know, sexual harassment, and everyone said they, no, not that they can think of anything.
And since we don't have the internal rule here, so in general practice, do you know what is the procedure to solve the problem in your bank?
In my well, I guess you're meant to go to your supervisor, and then depending on the level of problem, or the severity of it, and you're meant to go to him, and then there's an option to go to human resources, and if the problem is something like this, I mean, I think you're meant to say it to your supervisor anyway, but, and he's, you know, if he can deal with it, he'll go up higher, and then he'll get legal advice, but as I say, I just didn't feel that I could do that because of my situation with my fiance, and I just thought that the situation is embarrassing. Being a man, you know, it's a little bit embarrassing.
We understand that. And you told us that you went to talk to the CEO of the bank, which is Mr. Stephen.
Yeah.
So what did he reply?
He said he would sort it out. He said, I'll have a talk with Mrs. Thompson, and I'm sorry that you feel this way, but I'm sure we'll clear everything, and everything will be fine. So I was really happy with that. I think that was a Thursday or a Friday, and then the following Tuesday, I got a phone call, and he said, "Stop imagining these. It's all in your head. These situations are in your head. Mrs. Thompson is a fine, upstanding lady, and I'm very disappointed in you and all that." And I tried to explain, and he wouldn't hear any of it, so he threatened me to stop, or else that's all he said. Put down the phone. So for the next couple of days, I was frustrated. I was very angry, and then I got an email from Mr. Stevens saying that it's basically 10% of my wages or my salary was going to be cut for the next 6 months as a disciplinary measure. So that made me extremely angry, and I was very frustrated with that. So I felt victimized. You know, I felt I had done nothing wrong, and he didn't listen to my argument, and he sided with her for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Like even he said, when I first brought the problem to him, he said, yes, Mrs. Thompson can be a bit flirtatious at times. So I thought it was a kind of, you know, strange-ish thing to say. I was wondering that had she done this before. I don't know if she had, or is he aware of it. So I'm not sure what the relationship is between Mrs. Thompson and Mr. Stevens. but I was angry, and I felt he's siding with her for I don't know why.
Okay, and you told our secretary that you have something about an account. So can you explain us more about that?
Well, because I was so angry, because I was frustrated,
yes,
I set up this secret account, and because my salary was going to be cut, so I decided to, because I'm a computer programmer, I designed a program in the system that I already designed before, but I made a few touches to it. I made adjustments, and it basically allows me to take away or cipher some of the money from the interest of the depositors' accounts into the secret account.
Okay.
So that's been going on for 4 months. The account is still open.
And did anybody know about that?
You're the first people I've told.
Okay.
So I did plan on closing it after a month, but I was still angry, and I was just looking at the money I guess coming in, and it's out of sheer anger and frustration that I wanted to retaliate, and that's why I opened this account. But I have taken money from these depositors' accounts and their interest, from large deposit, not all. I mean, just the very biggest accounts. And I thought they wouldn't miss the interest. So yeah, I guess I'm looking for advice because there's an audit coming up in 2 weeks' time. So I'm just a little bit worried that they'll discover the secret account, and I'm just wondering, get advice from you what to do, or should I close this account? Should I? What should I do? Should I bring the sexual harassment case first? I'm not sure exactly. And can I be jailed? That's all I want to know. I don't want to be in jail here.
Okay. Okay. Do you have anything more to tell us about your story?
I mean, I think I've told most of it. And have you any questions? No, the secret account is still open. I've only spent a certain amount of money in the account. It's not that much.
So there are a lot of money in that account that you did not spend already.
I've spent some, but there's still a large amount still in the account.
So can you put it back without showing the system with system evidence that you create a secret account?
Well, I could design a program that would allow me to put back the money that I've taken, but I still have to I basically still have to earn some more money to put it all back, because I've spent some of it already. So.
And you told us that it is a threat, or they deduct your wage, 10% of your wage already. So they deduct the 10% of your wage already.
Already, yeah.
And for disciplinary measure, and do you know clearly about what is the disciplinary measure that they took against you?
Well, he just said it was these accusations made towards Mrs. Thompson, but there was no. I mean, we didn't go to a committee. We did, he just said that's the disciplinary measure, and I guess I didn't think about what my options were. I mean, if the CEO was siding with the executive vice president, I didn't see how I could go to my supervisor, John Murphy, because I thought, well, these are two fairly high people. I didn't know what I could do. There's not much he can do, to people in that power. So.
And since it is an international bank of commerce, so does it have any headquarters in other country?
Headquarters?
Yes.
No, the headquarters are here.
Okay.
Yes.
And back to the story of sexual harassment. Do you know that Miss Thompson has any such behavior toward the other employee?
Not that I've heard. No. I think not that I've seen or heard. It just seemed. I just noticed it with me, but maybe I'm blind. Maybe she has, but I haven't heard anything else. No, as far as I'm aware, no.
And I just want to ask you one more basic question regarding to your bank. And is there any board of director in your bank?
There are board of directors, yeah. in the bank. Yeah.
Okay, so board of director has a decision to choose the CEO in your bank or what? Okay.
Okay, so we have gathered enough information in order to analyze your case here.
Okay.
So before we analyze our case, let me summarize the fact that you have told us so far. And if there are any mistakes, please feel free to correct me immediately. Okay, so you work in an international bank of commerce and you have a 5-year contract, but you have been worked there for 2 years already.
Yeah.
And recently you said that you have faced a case of sexual harassment by the executive vice president of your bank. Her name is Mrs. Thompson, and that kinds of sexual harassment not happen once, but it's happened many times. Like she touch you, she joke around you, and especially when she touch your body, there's nobody around.
Yes.
She try to keep away from anybody, and you did complain and told her many times that you feel very uncomfortable about it, and you said, please do not do that to you again because you already have fiance and all this stuff.
Yes.
But she still do it, and you even complained to your CEO, but he said that you make an accusation toward Mrs. Thompson, and even deduct 10% of your wages.
That's correct.
And that's one more issue in your case is that you create a secret account in order to take some of the percentage from the interest of the client into that secret account because you were very angry with the company.
Yeah.
And it has been executed for 4 months already. So what are your goals of coming to our office today, and what do you aim to achieve from our today consultation?
Well, I aim to achieve staying out of jail, hopefully, because I don't want to go in prison here in this country.
Very serious.
I was wondering what's the best way of doing that, whether I should pursue the sexual harassment first, or to wait and see what the bank does if they find out about the secret account, or should I leave this country? And is that the best way of making sure nobody pursues me if I just leave? And should I still have the account open? So should I close the account? Should I could I transfer the money into another account, maybe back home in Ireland? But my priority is not to go to jail. That's my priority. So.
I have one question. Do you still want to keep your job?
I do like where I work. If it was sorted with Mrs. Thompson, and I'd be convinced that it would never happen again, and that it wouldn't affect my working relationship with any of, like Mr. Stevens included, then yes, but it might be difficult after this, I think.
Okay.
Okay. After hearing all your problem that you told us lately, we figure out that there are 2 main issues in your problem. The first issues is regarding to the issues that you concern the most, which related to the penal code, which is whether you create a secret account to get the money from the other account is considered as fraud, and also is it against the internal rule or regulation in your company or not, and whether it's against the labor code or the penal code or not. And we will analyze it to you very clearly later. And the second issue is regarding to the sexual harassment conduct that Mrs. Thompson did to you, and how could you deal with it without any enough evidence. And regarding to the first issues, even you have some reason that because you were angry with your bank because your bank did not treat you very well, but still it's not a reason for you to create a secret account or to harm the interest of the bank. It is called a fraud, and it is a serious case, and it breached the labor code and the penal code as well, and you will face trouble with the criminal procedure. So we right now suggest you to stop that account and transfer all the money back to the own account.
Back to the people I took it from.
Yes.
Yes, and
without the bank knowing, should I let the bank know first?
I think
or should I try and transfer the money back without them knowing?
It is very good to do it really publicly, but we just want to ensure you that it will cause you some trouble. So if you can transfer all the money back to the owner account and before the auditor come in, so it's the best choice for you to do.
Okay.
Because no matter what reason, you as an employee, you cannot do that.
But I'm short a certain amount of money. I don't have all the money. I spent I've spent some of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll take me a while to earn back the money I've spent.
And do you have any asset?
Well, I have my house, I have a car.
Mm, I think in order, because going to jail is very a serious case, I think you should consider selling your car or
Any other asset in
Yes.
order to put back the money that you have spent
Yeah.
so far and put in back in full amount that you have taken from the client's account and put it back as soon as possible. We suggest that.
What's the worst that can happen if I was convicted of fraud in this case?
the first thing is regarding to your employment of your profession.
Yeah.
The bank will have a valid reason to terminate your contract.
Right.
And the second one, you will face a criminal procedure.
Yeah.
So the bank will file a lawsuit to the police, and you will face a criminal procedure in this case. And so we still suggest you to put all the money back.
Okay.
Okay, and try to sell your asset or put it or borrow some money from the bank by putting your asset as a
Okay.
collateral to get the money and send it back to the own account.
But can I not use the sexual harassment as leverage?
No, you cannot use the sexual harassment for the reason to do that.
It's a two different stories, so we need to sort out the secret account first before we can bring up the sexual harassment case into discussion.
Okay.
And yes, and we suggest you to do it as soon as possible, and after that you should deal with the sexual harassment case. And regarding to the sexual harassment case, according to the fact that you told us, it's clearly an harassment, and at the first place it is a sexual harassment, hostile working sexual harassment, but because it goes worse and worse, and it even affects your working and your academic rights, which deduct 10% of your wage, so it becomes a quid pro quo sexual harassment, and it's a very serious case of the sexual harassment. But the very problem of your case right now is you don't get any evidence. But you did file a complaint, and did you file a written complaint or just orally complaint?
No, I just complained to the CEO. That was it. I didn't write. No, I have no written complaint. So it was just to the CEO, just to talk. That's all I've done. So that's
And usually the sexual harassment case will be taken very seriously in the workplace.
Right.
But as you have told us, you already complained to Mr. Thompson and also to the CEO. But your company does not really take this problem seriously and even deduct 10% of your wage.
Yeah.
So the company in this case really has a high responsibility in this case.
okay.
And if you want to still to keep the job and to work at that bank,
Yeah.
I think you should inform this to the board of directors. So can you in your position contact to the board of director of your bank?
Yeah, I guess I could. I don't know how to do it. I guess I could ask my supervisor to try and contact them, or how do I contact them, or get their numbers or something.
Yes, we will have you in contacting your board of director and writing the document, because it's really a hard case for you since you don't have any evidence. But still, we can write a letter to the board of director by saying that you feel really uncomfortable, and you even complain to Stephen and even talk to Mrs. Thompson,
Yeah.
but still the result the same and there's no action. So it will cause trouble to the company as well, because it's the responsibility of the company to ensure that the working environment of all employees are good.
Okay.
And in this case, we need to write a written complaint in order to state it clearly what are your working condition is and how you are affected by the sexual harassment. And also we also need to specify the procedure that you have complained to Mr. Stephen already, but there's no serious action taken. And we also need to ensure the board of directors that if this problem leak out to the public, it will affect the reputation of your bank,
Okay.
and also face many serious consequences later on.
And we suggest you to ask the board of director, or we will draft the letter for you. We can suggest you to change to another branch. Is there any another branch of this bank in the country?
Yeah, in the country, but I mean, if I left the bank, I would move home. You know, so it's either I stay there or I move back home, because I'm just not sure what to do. If another bank would sort my problems out, you know, I like where I'm living at the moment with my girlfriend, so it would be a lot of hassle to try and move to another place in the country. We would move back home. She's Irish as well, so we would move back if we were to leave that bank or leave that city.
Okay. we understand that because you told us that there's another branch of the bank in the country. So if you still love to live in Cambodia and want to have that job, you can ask to move to the other branch of the company. So you will not see Mrs. Thompson anymore, and she cannot go to your office and harass you anymore.
Yeah.
So it really a safe place, safe working place for you.
Okay.
And the other one option that you can ask the board director to protect you from the sexual harassment is to transfer Mrs. Thompson to the other branch or to the other department. The bank should take it seriously by punish her.
Well, I think if the situation with the account is cleared, that is my priority. I'll be happy with that. If I'm pursued for that, I was thinking of maybe bringing up the sexual harassment course or course of action, the sexual harassment. Maybe, but I have one question.
Yes.
If I pay back the money, I don't have all the money, I have most of it. If I pay back most of the money and the audit finds out that I have, basically been doing what I've been doing, how severe is the punishment if I've attempted to pay back all the money? Is it as severe as original, or is it the same, or do they take that into account if I try and pay back the money?
Yes, because according to our penal code, it does not care about the result, but it cares about the action, whether the action meets the requirement of this criminal code or not. And as we can see, it kind of meets some requirement of fraud already, since you take some money from your account. So as we suggest you before, that you should tell this very publicly that it's your fault to your bank, and then you promise them to transfer all the money back to the owner of the account. But if you do that, you might risk some kind of disciplinary action. But we can help you to talk to your bank by saying that you did this action because you have some problem with your supervisor and your CEO, because you have some anger from them. That's why you commit such an act. And because they deduct your wage without any reason, without any valid reasons, that's why you commit that. So I think the board of directors will understand and will put some disciplinary action toward you, but really like what we can negotiate with them.
Okay. So you do think I should contact the bank and let them know what I've been doing?
Yes, because we afraid that even you send the money back to the own account, but still the auditor might know about some evidence or might know about the trace of that action, so it might get you to the same trouble. So
do you think the money I have, should I begin to pay that back first before I let the bank know, or should I let the bank know now before I've transferred the money back into the accounts to show that I've attempted to pay it back?
We think that first of all you need to go to transfer all the money that you have in your secret account back to the client account first, and also collect all the your title of your assets, anything that you have, in order to ensure that you are willing to pay back, and then bring all those documents to meet with your board of director and showing that you have the attempt to pay back all the money and stop doing this such of thing.
And it will show the board director of your bank that you did know it's your fault, but you did just commit that fault for some kind of personal reason, and you did will compensate the bank back, so they will understand about your situation.
Okay.
And after you deal with that bank account, you can go forward with the sexual harassment case, and in this place you can ask the compensation from the bank as well.
Okay.
Because of the sexual harassment that you have faced so far, and the unfair treatment of your supervisor, CEO, Mr. Steven, that deduct 10% of your wage for couples of months already, and you can ask for compensation for that. And also ask the board of director to ensure the environment of your working, that, as my colleague has mentioned, there's two options, whether you can change to the other branch or change Mrs. Thompson to the other branch, or even put some disciplinary sanction toward her.
Yes, and we think that you can, since we know and we have a conversation with you, and you seem really in a big trouble and with many problems and you really have like a bad feeling right now. So you can ask your bank, or we can go to tell them that you should have the counseling service. So is there any counseling service in your bank?
In my bank?
Yes.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yes, and you should seek to see them, because in order to make you feel better,
Yeah.
and because it's really difficult for a foreigner to live in Cambodia and with some trouble, because you don't know how who to talk to.
Yeah.
So when you talk to that person, you will know how to deal with the problem in your personal life.
Okay.
And we believe that the counseling service will not only help you with your working life, but also your personal life, because the sexual harassment affect your feeling and also interpersonal relationship with your fiance as well. So this is the name card of the counseling service that we highly suggest to you.
Because if you're afraid that you have a counseling service in your bank and it will leak out the information, so you can have that counseling service, because generally this counseling service keep all information confidential.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, good. I have a lot to think about.
Yes. So since we give you many steps and options, so we will summarize it again to make sure that you know what to do after you leaving our office. So
the first thing that you need to do is to go to your secret account and transfer all the money you have in it into the client's account, and also like be prepared any asset that you have, and be willing to be prepared in order to sell it, in order to return the money into the
yes.
Okay.
And
First thing. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
It's the first thing, and after that you can have us to talk to your board of director, or if you feel really confident in yourself, you can choose to go to talk with them by explaining them that you commit something wrong in the past, which because the company did not treat you well and you have some personal problem, that's why you did that. But now you know your faults and you compensate all to the bank, and you won't do it again.
Okay.
And we can represent you to talk to them.
Yeah, I think I'd like you to represent me. Yeah.
Yes.
And bring up
Because it's kind of
why I did it.
complicated case
Yeah.
in your problem.
But still, we will draft you a memo in order to explain all the provision regarding to the fraud, to the sexual harassment, and anything that relate to your case in detail, in order to give you more ideas what to talk and how to discuss with your board of director.
And these 2 steps, you must take it immediately before the auditor came to your bank. Come to your bank.
Do it straight away.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and after that you can deal with the sexual harassment case. Since in the second step you told the board of director about the sexual harassment already, so you should ask them to ensure that there's no working environment for you anymore by transfer you to the other branch of the bank, or transfer Mrs. Thompson to another branch, or put some disciplinary sanction against her.
Okay.
Okay.
And you should tell the bank, or we can tell the bank that the bank should take it seriously, because right now it become a case of the responsibility of the bank already. And even we don't have any evidence to prove it, but we will try to documentation it and prove about it.
Okay.
But I think I'll take you up on your advice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
Do you know clearly what you're gonna do when you leave our office?
Yeah, clearly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and pay it all back. I'm gonna try
Yes.
and even if I don't have the money, I could sell off my car,
Yes.
or remortgage the house, and make sure I have it all paid before the auditor
Yes.
finds it, and then get you to represent me and go to them about what I've done and why I did it, and also to mention the issue of the sexual harassment. And that, yeah, I think that's clear.
And yes, last thing, we suggest you not to avoid the problem or try to run to your country, because still it will get into like much trouble, and you have like your fiance here, so you should deal with the problem and stop and finish the problem.
And if you have anything more, like any doubt or anything what you are unclear, you can come to see us again in the next meeting, and we can help you deal with those problems.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for coming to our office.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, well, thanks very much for your help.
Thank you.
Take care.
What do you think about that case?
He creates the secret account in order to take the money because of his anger. He must be in a very difficult situation and very frustrated. That's why he's come up with that idea, and it's a very serious problem.
I'm very worried about that case, the fraud case. That's why it's yes, you are going to tell him that he should deal with it quickly. So, and I'm worried like even we go to talk, or he go to talk with the board of director, but still they want to bring the claim, but we can settle the problem by, because they have different interests, the bank also want to keep the sexual harassment case not really leak out. So we can take the sexual harassment case to discuss and together with that bank account case, because it relates to each other.
Like the process needs to be dealt internally first before, if the internal process of his bank does not really work, we can have him go to the labor inspector and as well as to the court if it is really serious. But
I don't think this case is good for our client to go to the labor inspector or the court, because if he decides to go to labor inspector of the court, then the bank will reveal all the information that about the secret account, and our client will face more trouble than that. So let's we should draft the memo as soon as possible, send to him, because the auditor will come to his bank soon.
So let's divide the task.
Yes.
Okay, so I will draft the memo regarding to the provision of the fraud and also any legal consequences that he might face, and also the provision regarding the sexual harassment, and explain him in detail.
Yes, and I will tell him like clearly what to do and the legal consequences, and we'll do more research, because it's difficult to prove about the sexual harassment since there's no witness. But yes, we can contact him to get in more documents, and we should arrange the next meeting as soon as possible, because we still lack of like internal declaration, employment contract, and the other information from him.
Okay. We'll draft the memo and send him by the end of today.
Yes, okay.
Don't go anywhere.
Stomachs are empty.
Just quickly, because we're running a bit late, what we've been doing is doing feedback straight away.
Yes.
Just to try to catch up, ready for this afternoon's. Start. Should we just, what we've been doing is doing feedback this way around.
Okay, well, look, well done. Obviously, it's a difficult problem. It's the semi-final. I'm sure you weren't expecting the curveball of the secret accountant and taking money. I mean, this happens in real life, it happens in competition. You will get clients who come in and will give you a sob story or will tell you a difficult problem, but in reality they're hiding something else, and your job as attorneys is to dig into the truth. And a part of that, which you've dealt very well with, is establishing that it's confidential, that you need to tell us all the details, regardless of how insignificant they may seem. They can be important for you as lawyers to determine the right course of action, whether it's going to be a legal route or a non-legal route. And I think, reassuring the client about that allows them to tell you everything. And I felt that came out quite quickly. You got to that issue quite well, and obviously you dealt with the things separately. I think, for me, I felt they were a little bit more co-joined in terms of how you might come to a resolution. But certainly the client knew he was in trouble. He knew he faced criminal sanctions. And I think one of your final points was don't run away, finish the problem. That was very good advice and very clear. He was in no doubt that regardless of these other issues with Ms. Thompson and how the bank has reacted to that, he does face real problems outside of the bank. I thought that was good, a good way of delivering bad news to him. I don't know if you guys have other comments?
First of all, congratulations. Take a deep breath. I thought your teamwork was outstanding. There were times where I looked away deliberately to see if I could figure out which one of you was speaking, because you were that good. You were seamless, and that is, in this competition, really a challenge, because sometimes one person takes over, another person is the secretary. You did a great job of tossing the football. That's an American. So you tossing the coconut shell. Okay? And it felt really, really comforting as to why there were two of you, because I got, as a potential client, double the support and information. One second. You're very sharp. Your mind is very, very good. It travels at lightning speed. You didn't miss anything. But you said to the client, is there another branch? He said, yeah, it's in the country. You said, would you consider living there? He said, no. 3 times you told him it's an option. You heard it, but you didn't take it in because you were going to the next thing. So you have to be careful. As things are flying at you so quickly. You have to be careful when you ask a question. If you get an answer, you've got to take it in. So it's a challenge for all of us when we're under the pressure of the gun and the 30 minutes and everything else that goes on. But just note that when you ask, take note, because otherwise it may be. And the other comment that I had for both of you is that you gave a lot of advice that might not have gelled. He said, well, what do I do with the sexual harassment? You said, separate it. But actually that might not be the thing to do, because you might actually be able to work the two together. I don't know, and neither did you. And I think it's okay sometimes to say, we're not sure about the actual strategy, but here are some of the options. So, but it was a superb interview. Congratulations.
So I thought the two of you say about the teamwork is actually very, very good, and the structure and the preparation. You knew there were two issues, and you got that out early on, because the memo had said there was a bank account and something else, and it would be easy to overlook that. But at the end of the day, two significantly large problems here rolled into one in 35 minutes is virtually impossible to do. So what Jodie said about you're very, very quick. Your brains are obviously 2 steps ahead at some points. And I think that the danger with you, and these are small points to pick up, not major criticism, which are very good to you, is the listening point. I think if the client has told you something, your preparation, you've probably done 5 or 6 interviews at this in the last few weeks, your preparation says, right, I do this and then I move to that. But if the client has said something, you don't have to then go through this. You need to listen to what they say and reflect upon it and rephrase something. Because at one point, for example, you said to the client, what are your goals? Because obviously that was what you were intending to say, and you've got a lovely way of asking questions. It's excellent. It's a nice touch that the client gives you the information, but he'd already told you that, so you could have perhaps reflected back on what he'd said, because his goal was not to go to jail. And just to sort of blandly say that as a question, the client could say, well, I've already told you that. Clearly that's my problem. So I think you need to be a bit more flexible and able to move away from what your script is if you're thrown with very, very difficult things, because your brains are too quick to problem. That's a compliment. That's an absolute compliment. They can't say that to many people.
Right.
Lovely practical advice. Excellent at thinking of practical alternatives of what to do. A lot of teams really don't do that, and don't avoid the problem, deal with it. Spot on. I mean, you've got some very good practical advice, and
you'll make fantastic lawyers.
So you're not just looking at lawyers, you are looking at it for competition. And with your reflection, just a tiny point, there are 5 bullet points in the criterion for reflection, and the temptation with most of the teams that we see all the time is they just deal with the legal analysis and who's doing what next. And there is room there for you to reflect on your own skills, your strengths and weaknesses, how the client felt. And I think you could perhaps put a bit more of that in rather than who's doing what memo, and that's probably more important than the reflection side, because it gives you your opportunity to show us what you've sort of learned, what you did well, what you didn't do so well. But overall, very good. There's only small points.
Thank you. Okay. Can we have photo with you? Photo.
Photo.
Oh, yeah.